Thank you. Thank you, Neha ji. Thank you, Hindi team. I am very happy to see all these things. The students from National Institute are listening. Together, they are listening the session. Our Hindi session is day by day, it is improving. Really happy to see all these things, and very thankful to Dr. Sahani sir for leading this. And Dr. Manish has joined. I am the host. Okay, now we are moving to English session. Thank you, Hindi team. Bye-bye. Now it is the time for the English session. Now today it is 1512th day of continuous webinar. Before beginning the session, we will have a silent prayer. Thank you and welcome once again. Today's our guest is Dr. Manish Azad Singh. All of you know about him very well. He is energetic, young, third generation homeopath of his family, and he's very hardworking, and he's working as an assistant physician in Divine Homeopathic Clinic. More than that, he is our Hindi moderator, content creator, published many articles on in both English and Hindi, and he presented thesis on Kent's repertory, Tinea corporis, and researchers regarding breast cancer, published many other articles, medical blog writing, and many qualities we have to say about him. All of you know him very well. Most of the days he is conducting the Hindi session, and he's a good communicator and leader too. I'm inviting Dr. Manish Azad Singh. Sir, please. On behalf of IFPH. Hello. Doctor?
Dr. Anjali, you have to make him the host.
Yeah, I made as a co-host. He's here, right?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes. Please
just
come.
give me 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, visible.
Okay.
Doctor, it is visible, but I think you can make it enlarged.
I think the laptop will start hanging. So
Okay, then okay, no problem. Yeah. No problem. It's visible only. Okay. Start.
So the today's topic is schizoid personality disorder. Okay. And before this, we have discussed about cluster B personality disorder. That was antisocial personality disorder and behavioral personality, antisocial personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder. We have already discussed about that. Today, we are discussing cluster A personality disorder, which also includes schizoid personality disorder. Okay. So firstly, as before, we will discuss what are personality disorders. So personality disorders are what basically a group of mental health condition in which there are a fixed pattern of behavior, cognition, and inner experience, which are not normal. Okay. And these behavior and behavioral patterns are coming with a long time, in a long experience. Okay. You can't diagnose someone with personality disorder in just 1 month. Okay. This behavioral problem should be from a long time. So if this behavioral or cognition or inner experience deviation should be from a long time, then only you can diagnose someone with personality disorder. So these patterns should be pervasive, these patterns should be inflexible, and these should be difficult from adaptation. So we have to compare how we will define that something is normal and something is not normal. Okay, we will compare it with normal life, that your behavior, what you do is not normal, or what you think is not normal, how you tackle this stimulus is not normal, and that is how we define that. Okay, you are having something wrong in you, and let's get you diagnosed. Okay, And in personality disorder, the definition for diagnosis is given by DSM-5. DSM-5 defines Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder 5 defines the type of mental health, okay, the type of mental health conditions. So schizoid personality disorder or any kind of personality disorder is defined by DSM-5. Coming again to cluster A personality disorder, okay. Cluster A personality disorder are basically of three types. First is paranoid personality disorder. Second is schizoid personality disorder. And third is schizotypal personality disorder. Today we are discussing here schizoid personality disorder, that what is schizoid and how is it different from any other personality disorder, okay. Discussing again, paranoid personality disorder is basically paranoia. Okay, you have something like distrust in you, you have suspicion, and you have questions towards motive, that other people, you question other people's motive, that they are planning something against you or plotting something against you. That comes under paranoid personality disorder. Okay. When we discuss about schizoid, then schizoid is what? Detachment from social relationship, okay, and a very limited range of emotional expression. That is what we are discussing today, that what is schizoid personality disorder. And when we discuss about schizotypal personality disorder, then detachment with odd beliefs of magic, odd beliefs of something superficial or superstitious, relying in our life, that would be schizotypal personality disorder. So there are three types of cluster A. Today we are discussing about schizoid personality disorder, so we will stick to our topic only. In cluster B, we have four types of personality disorder. There is antisocial personality disorder, there is borderline personality disorder, there is histrionic personality disorder, and there is narcissistic personality disorder. We have already discussed about it, so we'll not discuss today about these. In cluster C, we have avoidant personality disorder, we have dependent personality disorder, and we have obsessive compulsive personality disorder. So coming to the topic, what is schizoid personality disorder? So basically, schizoid personality disorder is a mental health condition in which there is a pervasive pattern. There is a lifelong pattern or a pattern of around 5 years or 6 years or 7 years of detachment. The person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, he feels detached. He feels detached from any kind of relationship and has a very restricted range of emotional expression. So the rubrics comes into the mind is indolent, that this person has a very restricted range of emotional expression. He will not talk about himself. He will not talk about his emotional expression. He has a very limited range of emotion. His sadness, his grief, or his emotional expression is very limited. Okay. So the people who are suffering from schizoid personality disorder, they will always or maximally try to define their time in solitude. And that is why the rubric comes into the mind, solitude desire, okay, or solitary desire. And they always have a very limited emotional responsiveness. They show very little interest in forming close relationship, okay, and engages very less with others. So a person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, he do not want to go to a party, he do not want to meet a long crowd or a large number of people. He always wants to define his time in solitude or in solitary activities only. They usually, if you meet a person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, then he will come across as a indifferent person, okay, and that is why rubric comes mind indifference, and CPR, a medicine like CPR comes into mind, that the person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, they're usually aloof, and they're usually self-involved, and they're usually indifferent to social norms, and they usually struggle to express themselves. They usually struggle to understand someone else, okay. So they usually respond very atypically to social cues, that a social norm behaves, that if a principal is saying something to you, then you have to listen. But a person suffering from schizoid personality disorder, he will run out of the class, that no, I don't have to listen, okay. So he do not behave as per social norms. He has very congested kind of emotional expression, a very limited range of emotional expression he has. Coming to the topic, who described it first? In 1921, Paul Eugene Bleuler first described schizoid personality disorder. He first defined that what is schizoid personality disorder and how can you understand schizoid personality disorder. He was the first who defined schizophrenia, and he was the first who described the term schizoid, okay? And he told that a person who is described in the term schizoid, will have differentiation in pattern of detachment, and he will have a lack of emotional expression. And he only told that schizoid is very much different from schizophrenia. So the term schizoid derives from Greek word schizen, which meaning split. Okay, the word schizoid means split. Coming to the point, history of schizoid personality disorder. As we first described that Paul Eugene Bleuler in 20th century described how schizoid personality disorder comes into play. Okay, he only described that schizophrenia and schizoid is very much different, because before Bleuler, before 1921, schizophrenia and schizoid were very much same, and they were thought of as the same term. Okay, Bleuler defined that no, schizoid is very much different and schizophrenia is very much different. Schizoid means flatness of emotion, and a person who is socially detached, who cannot express himself, who is emotionally flat, can be termed as schizoid. Okay, so this is Bleuler's contribution, Paul Eugene Bleuler's contribution in 1921, that schizoid is very much different from schizophrenia. Then came DSM third. DSM third came in 1980. Okay, and DSM third defined that what are the symptoms of schizophrenia, what are the symptoms of schizoid personality disorder, and what symptoms what are the boxes which can be ticked to diagnose someone with schizoid personality disorder. Okay, and for the modern understanding, we have DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Understanding. DSM-5 describes that what is schizoid personality disorder. It has the norms and classifications for all the symptoms of schizoid personality disorder. The next is key features. What are the symptoms for diagnosing someone with schizoid personality disorder? How can we diagnose someone with schizoid personality disorder? What are the symptoms which we'll see in a person? So the first, which we are discussing from the last 15 minutes, are what? Detachment from social relationship. A person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder will have a detachment from social relationship. Okay, this person who is suffering, the patient, he will always have a limited range of emotions, and he will try to avoid social interaction. He will try to define his time in solitude, in solitary activities, and will try to avoid social interactions, will try to avoid meeting peoples, and will try to avoid parties, will try to define his time in solitary only. Okay, they will have limited range of emotions, very limited range of emotional expression, and if you will meet this person, then he will comes across as emotionally flat, he will comes across as indifferent, that he do not understand how you feel, he do not wants to understand how you feel or what you say, he only understands himself, and he is a very flat person. Okay, then there is indifference to social norm and expectation. You have an expectation that this person should wear like this person should talk like this if he's in a party, but this is a person who comes across as a very emotionally flat. He will search for a corner, that no one is looking on him, no one is trying to talk to him. He wants a wall across him. Okay, something like natramute. That natramute is a very what can we say, a very indolent person who do not wants to talk with many persons. Okay, so it is something like that, that this person is searching for a corner, he do not wants to talk or socially interact with many people. Okay, these persons do not comes across as a very good they will not be a social butterfly. Okay, these persons are someone who are very reserved, they are very indifferent, and they have their opinions, and they will talk about that only. Okay, so they do not comes across as a very nice people as per social expectations. Again, this the same point came across, that preference for solitary activities. The person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, they usually prefer solitary activities. They engage in the activities which are plain alone. Okay, they try to watch movie, they are binge watching Netflix, but they do not want to meet people in the real life. Okay, they could be very active on Instagram, they could be very active on social media, but they do not want to meet those people in real life. Okay, they often find solitary activities more enjoyable and more fulfilling than social activities. Then there is lack of interest in sexual experience. Now, if you will find that you have lack of interest in each and every kind of social norms and societal norms, then obviously sexual experience is also one of that. Okay, so this person can have sexual loss of libido, and this person have a reduced or lack of interest in sexual experience or relationship. They can have broader emotional and social detachment. Okay, so since you do not form that social attachment with people, obviously you will feel that you have a sexual restraining with from each other. Okay. Then the next is unresponsiveness to criticism or praise. A person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, he will not respond very wisely or very fanatically for something like praise or for something like criticism. Okay. He will say that okay, fine, whatever you think is your thought and I do not care about it. Okay. So since he is emotionally flat, he do not think that what you criticize is very important for him, and he also do not think that what you praise to him is important to him. Okay. So if you say that you look beautiful, he will say that yeah, fine, it's okay if I look beautiful, I don't care about it. And if you say that you do not look good, you look fat or you look obese, and he will say that yeah, okay, fine, I don't care about your feedback. So since they're emotionally flat, their responsiveness towards criticism and praise is unresponsive. Last, difficulty forming close relationships. Since the first point comes across that they're indifferent or they're emotionally flat, so obviously the formation of close relationship is very difficult for them. If, there is always a difficulty in forming close relationship. They may have very close relationships, but these are only those people who are very close to him. Okay. The people could be mother or father or only fixed people could be there who are there in the closer circle or who are there in the closer relationship. The other people can feel that they have a close relationship, but basically they are distant. They can't they are not the person who are in the circle. Okay. They do not desire or seek out such connections. They do not desire that some people comes into close relationship, and obviously their social interactions are very superficial and strained. So if this person visits your house, I can give you an example. If this person visits your house and you are asking that what are you doing, so he will ask I'm fine, and no such question that in return coming question that what are you doing. No, he will not ask that. He'll just say that yeah, I'm fine. Then you will ask again, what are you doing these days? I'm doing clinic. And again silence. Then will you want tea? Yes. Will you want coffee? No. Will you want water? No. Just a single word reply, the rubric comes in mind is speech, monosyllables. Okay. So these are the person who will answer you in such gesture or such words that you can't form sentence with that. He will not reply as phosphorus, that a question comes and a question comes in return that I am doing fine, how are you doing. A person suffering from schizoid will not answer like that. They have a very monosyllabic kinds of interaction with people. Now let's understand the key features one by one. The first is detachment from social relationship. A person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, they tend to be emotionally and socially detached. Okay. They usually prefer to remain alone and they avoid forming close relationships. So the nature is avoiding close relationship. The nature is what? Emotionally and socially detached. These are the person who are emotionally and socially detached. They do not want to try to attach with many people. Okay. So how this can be appearing as behavior? The behavior would be what? This person would be avoiding social invitation. This person would be avoiding social gathering and would be more engaged in solitary activities like reading or hobbies that don't require social interaction. So these kind of people could go hiking alone. They can go to mountains alone. They could go to religious places alone. They can be on their home watching Netflix, binge watching, and they can be totally on Gram or on Twitter all the time, but they will avoid social invitations, they will avoid parties, they will avoid social gatherings, because what is in their nature, they prefer to remain alone. They avoid forming close relationships. Okay. And what would be the impact of this? The impact of this would be that they will lead a significant isolation. Why? Because obviously if you will avoid social gatherings, if you will avoid social invitations, that you will not form friends, you will not form colleagues, and obviously your professional life would be hampered. So later on you will have a sense of loneliness or you will have a sense of disengagement with people. The next is limited range of emotions. Okay. Firstly, understanding nature. Since they have a limited range of emotion, their emotional range is very restricted. Okay. They may show little emotional response to situations that typically elicit a strong feeling in others. Okay. So understand this. If a best friend of someone has met with an accident, then basically what people will do, they will panic, they will try to arrange something that hi, can I get a ventilator, hi, is this hospital vacant, or can I get something else. But a person who is suffering from schizoid personality disorder, they will react very flat. Okay, they will say that yeah, okay, fine, if he met with an accident, I will go meet him tomorrow, I will go meet him day after tomorrow. Okay, so the reaction would be very flat, that they can sound rude, they can sound indifferent, but basically their emotional expression is very flat. Okay, so how this will appear as behavior? They will appear indifferent, they will behave, they will appear apathetic or emotionally flat, even in a situation where a very strong emotional response is required. They will appear as apathetic, that oh my god, he do not have apathy towards or empathetic towards anyone, he's very emotionally flat, he's very indifferent towards anyone. Okay, so the behavior would be sounding like a very indifferent person. And what would be impact? Obviously, if you will come across as an indifferent person, then it will lead to many misunderstandings, many strained interactions, and obviously people will not try to be your friend. Okay, because obviously you are not a person who will stand with them in their worst times, because you are avoiding people. So obviously they will not try to be your friend, or they will not like to be called as your friend. Okay, so the impact would be, you will be lastly you will be alone, you will have only 2 friends or only 3 friends or only a fixed number of people in your inner circle. Next is indifference to social norms and social expectations. What is the nature? They do not conform to social norm or social expectations. So understanding this, they will not behave as per social norm. Okay, so if you will invite them into a party and they will come into a party, then they will be wearing something like joggers or something like lower or something like very comfortable like t-shirt or something like very flowery or very wavy, because that's their comfort zone. They will try to be in their own comfort zone, they will not try to interact with you, they will not try to be looking too shiny or too attractive or too much attention gaining. Okay, so the people who are suffering from schizoid personality disorder, they will try to avoid attention, they will try to avoid interaction, any kind of interaction or any kind of attention, they will try to avoid it, they will try to ditch it, and they will try to get into a corner, they will try to get a couch in the corner, and they will try to sit there, not engaging with anyone, not talking with anyone, and they will have their drink and they will disappear in air, that no, I don't want to talk to anyone. Okay, so they might disregard the social convention or act in which normally people behave. Okay, so the nature would be like that. What would be the behavior? The response towards social situation would be unconventional. Okay, as I previously told you, that if a friend met with an accident, they will behave as emotionally flat, that yeah, fine, I'll meet him tomorrow, I'll go meet him day after tomorrow. So the lack of adherence to social ritual or disregard for social rules and etiquette, that would be come across as their behavior. Okay, and what would be the impact of that? The impact of this would be social ostracism. Okay, they will come across as people who are not appropriate to as a friend, or they will come across as people who are not appropriate and are not usual as people. Okay, not a usual friend of yours. So they will come across as people who are indifferent. The next is preference for solitary activities. Obviously, if someone is indifferent, if someone is coming across as emotionally flat, if someone is coming across as they do not want to talk with people, then obviously they will prefer for solitary activities. So a person who is suffering from SPD will generally prefer activities that can be done alone. Okay, so they can go for hiking alone, they can go for traveling alone, they are for solitude desire, they can be for mind traveling, but obviously alone. Okay, so the word alone is a key factor here, that they do not want to get engaged in social activities or get engaged in group activities. They want to define their time alone only. So they can go for binge watching, they can go for social media activities, but alone in their own home, in their own comfort zone. Okay, so the behavior would be come across as these people would like reading, these people would like writing or solitary hobbies. They will not have hobbies of talking with people, or they will not have hobbies of meeting with people and doing partying and something like that. So these people are not social butterfly. They can be termed as geek also, but they are not the people who are social butterfly. What would be the impact of that? Since you are not engaged in group activities or social engagement, you are a person who will not have too many friends. your relationship would be like reinforced. You would be a person who, if you have to talk to someone for your promotion or for something, like it would be like very restrained talking, that sir, should I do this or should I not? And he will say that, why are you bothering to talking? If I came to you yesterday and you would disregarded for my invitation or my party. So it would be like that. It would be a very restrained conversation, that it feels across that it is fake, it is not true. Okay, it feels like a detached, a flat conversation. Okay, and it will not feel like social bonding conversation. Obviously, if a person who is emotionally flat, who is not feeling emotionally concerned toward anyone, would have lack of interest in any kind of experience, made concern, sexual experience. Okay, so a person who is suffering from SPD will show minimal interest in sexual experience or sexual desire want. This reflects their broader detachment from social and emotional engagement. Okay, so they will have detachment from social interaction. They will have detachment from social, from emotion.
Dr. Manish, there is some glitches in between. Can't hear you now. Hello? What happened, doctor?
I don't know. I just
Okay, okay. Now it's audible. Okay.
Yeah.
Share it again.
is it visible again?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So the person who is suffering from who is emotionally flat, obviously he will have a lack of sexual interest, and so the rubric comes in mind is sexual desire decreased. Okay, or sexual desire want of. So what the behavior will come across, they will have lack of libido or lack of interest in sexual activities or avoid sexual relationship altogether. Okay, the impact would be reduced or absent interest in sexual relationship, and obviously it will affect its personal relationship and further contribute to social isolation and emotional distant relationship. So basically, what are we understanding? That these are the people who are coming across as emotionally flat. Again, unresponsiveness to criticism or praise. Okay, so since he's emotionally flat, he's indifferent, so obviously what are you criticizing and what are you praising about him, he will not care about it. Okay, if you are saying that he looks beautiful, he'll say that yeah, fine, it's okay, I look beautiful, I don't care about it. And if you say that okay, you look obese or you look fat, then he'll say okay, I don't care about it. So he's very emotionally flat. Since he do not care about anything, so he do not care about criticism also, and he do not care about praise also. So they do not seek any kind of validation from anyone, and they will respond to any kind of evaluation with emotionally flat reaction, with a very flat reaction. So the behavior towards any compliment or negative feedback would be same. Okay, that they will make you understand that you are non-existent to them, or your reaction towards them is non-existent. They don't care about it. Okay, so the impact, what would be the impact of it? Obviously, whatever the key features we are discussing, the impact of all are same. You will lastly, you will be in solitude only. You will not have any friend, you will not have any professional relationship, and you will not have any personal relationship in end, because whatever you are doing, the end of it is only same. You will lastly rest in solitude. Last key feature is difficulty forming close relationship. Since you do not have any kind of emotional responsiveness, since your emotional responsiveness is flat, so so there is always very restrained reactions. So there is very difficulty in maintaining close or meaningful relationship. Okay, it is very difficult to form a close bond, and it is very difficult to form a close relationship with anyone. So the behavior with friends or intimate relationship would be found very superficial. And what would be the impact? A person who is in relationship with you will find that you have a very restrained social, you have a very restrained emotional experience. You do not express yourself, and that is why he will feel or she will feel isolated. she will feel that that you do not express yourself and you are not a very good partner to have. Okay, so again you will end in solitude. So the key features obviously end with the impact will always be solitude only. Coming to the point, epidemiology. What is the common epidemiology of this? In general population, the American Psychiatric Publishing Textbook of Personality Disorder 5 in 2014 says that 0.0 to 4.9%. 4.9% is the most prevalent personality disorder of this schizoid personality disorder. So understanding it, schizoid personality disorder is the most common personality disorder among all. If we try to understand that which personality disorder is most common, histrionic is most common in female, and schizoid personality disorder is overall most common personality disorder because it is 4.9 as per 2014 study. Now, if you understand as per demographic characteristic, the ratio between men and women is 2:1. If two men are suffering from schizoid personality disorder, then one woman is suffering from schizoid personality disorder. This ratio is very much opposite in histrionic personality disorder. And in histrionic personality disorder, 2:1 is female is to male ratio. Okay. And in antisocial personality disorder, the ratio is same. It is 2 for male and 1 for female. Age of onset is early adulthood to persisting over time. In any personality disorder, the personality disorder appears with early adulthood only. Okay, the age which is usually visible is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 only. So the early adulthood age is usually the very visible time for any kind of personality disorder. Schizoid is also one of them. Comorbidity. Understanding schizoid personality disorder and any personality disorder, we have understood that two personality disorders can be available in one person at a time. Okay, so schizoid can also be comorbid with any other personality disorder. So schizotypal also can be present with schizoid, or paranoid can also be present with schizoid. Cultural variation. There is very limited evidence which can specify that any cultural evidence or any religion or any caste or any creed can form schizoid personality disorder. Okay, so no cultural variation can cause this. Diagnostic challenges. Schizoid is a very is a disease which you can't diagnose it very easily. Okay, so your only tool which can help is DSM-5 or ICD. Okay, DSM-5 is the only tool, or ICD is the only tool. The classification disease is the only tool which can help you diagnose this. Okay, so the diagnostic criteria is always DSM-5. DSM-5 is the Diagnostic Statistic Manual 5. Okay, that is the most used diagnostic criteria for it. What are the causes of schizoid personality disorder? Always, as we are discussing many personality disorder, schizoid is also the first would be family history. If a mother is suffering from any kind of personality disorder, or father is suffering from any kind of personality disorder, or both, if both are suffering, then 75% are the chances that the offspring is suffering from any kind of personality disorder. If one is suffering, then 50%. If both are suffering, then 75% is the chance that any mental disease will come to the person who is the offspring. So heredity and family history is a very strong association with mental diseases. The next is neurobiological factor. The brain structure and function. If we see this, then obviously we'll understand that abnormalities in prefrontal cortex, limbic system might affect emotional regulation and social interaction. So if a person who has abnormality in prefrontal cortex or in limbic system can have disorders in their mental health. Okay. One study of 20 subjects with either schizoid personality disorder or schizotypal personality disorder found that subjects had structural alteration of pyramidal pathway compared to controls. So if we understand that a study took place in which 20 subjects of schizoid personality disorder and 20 subjects of schizotypal personality disorder were taken into consideration. And in them, we understood that the pyramidal pathway of the brain is not normal. Okay. So the pyramidal pathway caused this kind of disorder. Neurotransmitter imbalance is always very important. Obviously, since today's generation is very much what can we say? Very much intuitive about their health, very much concerned about their health. So they read about it. Dopamine and serotonin are some kind of neurotransmitter which are very much important in your mental health. Okay, you are happy, you are sad, or you do not want to connect with people. Dopamine and serotonin are some kind of neurotransmitter which are very much important in that. Okay, so these are the neurotransmitters which are important in forming relationships. Next is environmental factors. obviously, since we are reading it from a long time, early life experience is always important. Who your parents were, what kind of upbringing you got, what kind of family environment you had, what kind of parenthood they gave you, and what kind of early childhood you had. That is very important question in any kind of psychological disorder. May it be schizoid, may it be histrionic, may it be antisocial, or any kind of personality disorder, or any kind of mental disorder. What kind of early life experience you had, what kind of stimulus you took in your childhood, and how you came out of that. That is a very important question in any kind of mental health disorder. Okay, so family history or any kind of history or childhood histories comes very much important when we are treating any kind of mental disease. So if a person comes to you with any kind of mental disease, then do ask their history. Go for a very vivid history. May it be important, may it not be important. Ask them that what kind of relationship your sister had with you, or you had with your sister, your brother, your father, your mother, or any kind of people who live into your house. Okay, that is very important, because in any kind of mental disorder, they have a link. Okay, these people have a link always. Attachment theory. What is attachment theory? If we talk about psychological factors, attachment theory also talks about the same. If your childhood went into insecurity, okay, that my mother do not loves me, I have to get her attention, and the child tries to get her attention with sulking. That whenever you sulk, the mother comes and, okay, oh mere bacche ko kya ho gaya, and they will feed you. If that will happen, then obviously you will become a sulky person throughout your life. And that is what schizoid is. What schizoid is, that it is a person who do not wants to talk with anyone. He's a very sulky person. He wants to try to be in a corner, and he wants that people approaches him. He will not approach anyone. And that is kind of a behavior which comes into childhood. When childs play like this, that they do not want to eat, they do not want to talk, they do not want to do anything, because they want your attention. So if your childhood goes into insecurity, then obviously your adulthood will try to cope up with that kind of a stimulus only. Cultural factors. Social norms obviously try to hinder it. And again, social norms and expectations are what, your cultural development only. That during your childhood, what kind of social factors were around you. So obviously your father and your mother and your neighbors are playing a very important role in that also. Genetic and environmental interaction. Obviously what your mother was suffering from, what, and what your father was suffering from, was always important. So heredity is the very same part of the same thing. Psychological theories. What are the psychological theories behind schizoid personality disorder? How they explain schizoid personality disorder? The first is attachment theory. Attachment theory says that early relationship with caregivers. What your caregiver was in your early childhood, and what kind of relationship you had with your caregiver. May it be your father, may it be your mother, may it be your aunt or grandmother, or anyone who was your caregiver in your childhood, and what kind of relationship you had with them. That is very important for forming any kind of relationship. Okay, and that is what makes root for any psychological disorder. What is the explanation is, insecure or avoidant attachment styles often result from neglect or emotional unavailability of caregivers, and that can lead to difficulty in forming close relationship and emotional detachment. So if your childhood went into insecurity, and you got neglect in return for love, then obviously you will have a difficulty in forming close relationship in your adulthood, and that will form a problem. Okay, so that is what attachment theory says. Cognitive theory says that you have a maladaptive thought pattern. It is something like obsessive compulsive disorder. You have a thought pattern that if I will do this, then this will come in return. Okay, that is what cognitive theory tells you. Cognitive theory tells you that if I will go in this party, that person will meet me and he might slap me, so I should not go. So cognitive theory tells you that you have a pervasive pattern, and that pattern is wrong. And you have to what we have to do is treat that pattern only, that inclusive thought only. That thought is wrong, and we have to treat that thought only. So cognitive theory basically is a goal oriented theory which is trying to treat that thought, that pervasive thought which comes into mind. Explanation. SPD might have developed disordered cognitive schema. Cognitive schema is distorted about themselves and others. For instance, they may perceive social interaction as irrelevant or threatening, and leading to avoidance of relationship. They might think that this social interaction is irrelevant, or they might think that this social interaction can threaten me, and that is why they are avoiding that. So the cognitive theory tells you that there is a pervasive thought pattern which is wrong and you have to avoid that. What is psychodynamic theory? Psychodynamic theory says that there is an early childhood experience in background, okay? And there is an unconsciousness process. This process is processing your early childhood experience, merging it with your adulthood, okay? Let's explain it. From a psychodynamic perspective, SPD is a defense mechanism against early trauma or emotional pain. Let's understand this. There is a child which is trying to love his mother too much, who is trying to talk too much, who is trying to give love too much, but the mother is not caring, okay? So lately he understood that if I will express too much, I will not get too much love, okay? So later on, he decided that I will not show too much love, and that is how I will get love, okay? So that is what psychodynamic theory says. Psychodynamic theory says that you have a defense mechanism, and your disease is a defense mechanism against an stimulus. Since your childhood experience taught you that if I will show so much concern, then I will not get love. So obviously you will not give love. You will not express yourself, and that is how you desire to be loved. So that is what psychodynamic theory says. These are the theories which explain schizoid personality disorder. Diagnosis. For understanding the diagnosis, firstly, we have to understand that what is the objective. The objective is to basically understand that what is our patient, what formed our patient, and how we have to understand him. By understanding the psychological theory, we understood that the background is very much important. The history is very much important. We have to understand that the patient's history is very much important in any kind of psychological disorder, may it be hysteria or any kind of disorder. So the objective is understanding current symptom, that what is the current problem, from how much time you have seeing it, and what are the symptoms which you are seeing. What was your life history, your personal, social, family history? What was that? Okay. And how is it affecting your functioning? How is your current symptom affecting your functioning? What is the problem you are facing? These three components should be completely taken for a mental disorder. This will form your complete symptom. DSM-5 TR. DSM-5 is the basic criteria for schizoid personality disorder. These are the 8 symptoms. If you tick all these 8 symptoms, then this person is diagnosed with what we can say schizoid personality disorder. Okay. In interpersonal settings, this pattern of behavior starts in early adulthood and persists through a variety of contexts, including at least 4 of the following. So if you are taking any 4 of these followings, then obviously this person is suffering from schizoid personality disorder. What are the 4 points? No or limited enjoyment of close relationship, including family, nearly always choose solitary activities, little interest in sexual experiences, takes pleasure in only few activities, limited close friendship relationship other than first degree relatives, indifference to praise and criticism, and display emotional coldness, detachment, and affective flattening. So if there are 7 points, and if your patient is taking any 4 points from these, then you can diagnose him for schizoid personality disorder. For any kind of disorder, you have to rule out other disorder. In case of schizoid personality disorder, you have to rule out schizotypal personality disorder, autism, and depressive disorders. Because in depression also the person does the same thing. Okay, so you have to kind of rule out other diagnoses too. Treatment. There are some psychotherapies which we can go through for the treatment. So if you go to a psychologist, he has to give you these kinds of psychological therapies. Cognitive behavioral therapy. What was cognitive behavioral therapy? It will tell you that what was that pervasive thought which is in your mind and how that thought can be removed. Okay, so that maladaptive thought pattern and behavior should be removed. That is cognitive behavioral therapy. How psychodynamic therapy works? Psychodynamic therapy talks about what was your defense mechanism, how that defense mechanism made root, and how it can be removed. That was psychodynamic therapy. Interpersonal therapy talks about how you can form social relationships, how you can feel loved, and how you can feel how can you make anyone else feel loved. Okay, so that is what interpersonal therapy helps with. Schema therapy helps with target. You have to tell a target that I want to make this, or I want this outcome as a result, and the person or the psychologist will help you find that. Okay, so that is schema therapy. What would be the medication? Antidepressants and antipsychotics. Social skill trainings, supportive interventions, family therapy, lifestyle and self-care, and stress management techniques. Now, what is always important is support. Support and care is always important. So if you have someone in your family or relationship, then obviously support is very much important. Now, coming to the rubric fastly, since we have 10 minutes only left. First, activity, desires activity, emotional activity, because obviously emotional activity is flat. Amusement, aversion to, because he do not wants to be amused, he's very flat. Company, aversion to, desire for solitude. Emotions, loss of. Emotions predominated by intellect. Emotions suppressed. Why? Because he is emotionally flat, he's feeling indifferent. So these are emotions which are lost, which are predominated by intellect, and which are suppressed. Estranged friends and relatives, because friends and relatives do not feel same. He's feeling that they are not my own. Fear, hurt of being emotionally, because this is a defense mechanism. He do not want to get hurt, so that is why he is not meeting people. Going out, aversion to. These rubrics are taken by synthesis repertory. Okay, so if anyone has a question, these are from synthesis repertory, Frederick Schwanz. Indifference, company, society, violin. Indifference, dearest friends even towards. Indifference to fame. Indifference to family. Indifference, joyless. We have not to take each and all rubric for any patient. Okay, what are the symptoms which present in your patient, those are important. I have taken all the symptoms which can be appearing in a person, and if we are taking these 5 symptoms of indifference, then obviously CPR will come on number 1. Again, more indifference, CPR would be on top. Mind indifference, loved ones too. Mind indifference, opinion of others too. Mind indifference to playing. Mind indifference to pleasure. Mind playing, aversion to play. Mind self-control increased, because he's a very self-control person. He do not want to meet people, he do not want to talk to people, so obviously there is a self-control. Male genitalia, coition, aversion to, because his sexual interest is decreased. Sexual desire diminished, male genitalia, and the same rubrics for female also. Again, talking about, since we have talked so much about indifference, obviously CPR should have to come on the top. CPR is a medicine, obviously, which is derived from cuttlefish ink, and is a medicine which is used for emotional detachment, indifference, and desire for solitude. We have to understand that the first point which comes across CPR is emotional exhaustion. It is a person who was very loving at a time. It is a person who has given his 100% at a time. But now the reactions which has came from society, or the reactions which has came from family, has made him indifferent, or has made her indifferent. Okay, so emotional exhaustion is the first symptom which is of CPR's, which makes CPR's ground or root. Okay, that his emotional exhaustion has made him CPR. Then there is emotional detachment. Then there is indifference in forming any kind of social relationship or any kind of social interaction. And then there is desire for solitude. Okay. Natramure. Since we were talking about a person who lives inside, who is a reserved person, who do not wants to talk to people, so obviously Natramure comes into play. Natramure is a remedy which is formed from common salt. Is a remedy used to address a variety of emotional and physical issues derived from sodium chloride, and used in homeopathic medicine to treat conditions related to emotional distress, particularly where there are feelings of sadness and isolation. If we have taken rubrics like ailments from grief, ailments from vexation, ailments from disappointed love, if someone has left someone in past and he's not coming out of it, Natramure, Ignatia, and Acid Phos are the first grade remedies in any kind of rubric you have taken. Okay, if we talk about grief, then Natramure and Ignatia are very important. If we are talking about death of loved ones and after that things are changed, then Natramure and Ignatia are important. If we are talking about vexation, that someone has shouted on someone and then things have changed, then Natramure and Stephysagri are important. So these are the medicines which we are regularly talking about grief and sadness. So Natramure is also one of them. Grief and sadness is the most important symptom, and there is a very deep-seated grief and sadness. it is always isolation. Natramur do not talk to people in a full sentences. If you will meet a Natramur who is a constitutional Natramur, he will always answer in monosyllables. He will never answer in a complete sentence. He will try to answer in one word, that yes, everything is going fine, yes, I'm good, yes. So this kind of answers you will get. There is always suppressed emotions. If you will try to poke, then either he or she will cry, or he or she will refrain that why are you asking this, why is this important, how is this important. Okay, so Natramur do not like poking around his emotional core. Okay, then there are physical symptoms like headache, because Natramur headache is very much important. A sun headache or any kind of headache is very important in Natramur. Then in personality nature, there is reserved trait and difficulty in relationship. Next is lycopodium. Lycopodium do not straightforwardly comes into schizoid personality disorder, because lycopodium is a very talkative person. Okay, but we talk about lycopodium as a person who has lost his kingdom. So a phase comes into lycopodium's life where he's very much detached with people, where he do not like talking to people, and where he has a very low self-esteem. He's very social anxious, and he's overcompensating for his emotions. So during that phase, lycopodium can be diagnosed with schizoid personality disorder. Okay, during that phase, when he is going through emotional loss and he has lost his property or he has lost his business, during that time lycopodium can be diagnosed with any kind of personality disorder, because during his fame time he can't be diagnosed with any kind of disease, because he is very overcompensating. He comes across as a very bold person or a very talkative person. Then we have two rare remedies. The first is Heroinium. Why Heroinium? Heronium is a medicine which is formed from heron, especially Ardea herodias species. Okay, it has very much emotional symptoms. The first is indifference. Indifference for any kind of social responsiveness, indifference towards any kind of emotional attachment, and the lack of responsiveness. Because this medicine is Heronium, he do not wants to talk to anyone. He do not want to respond to anyone. So he's answering unable to. The rubric is answering unable to. He do not want to answer your questions. He just want to be in himself. He wants to be isolated. So he show tendencies of social withdrawal and preference for solitude. The first two key features which we had in schizoid personality disorder. The behavioral traits would be reserved nature and emotional withdrawal. The physical symptoms which could be associated with this could be digestive issues or fatigue. The last rare medicine of the day is positronium. Why positronium? Because positronium is derived from the theoretical concept of positronium. Okay. If we talk about key characteristics of positronium, there is emotional symptoms of internal conflict, an internal conflict of duality. We were talking about many psychological theories. Okay, so there was a duality that I was giving love, but I was not reciprocated with love. Okay, so there is always duality, that should I give love, should I not give love. Okay, so schizoid personality comes in that he wants to give love, he wants to emotionally express, but he's trying to hold it, he's trying to hold that emotion. That is where positronium comes into play. That is all for the day. Thank you very much. We still have 3 minutes left. So if there is a question, so please go ahead.
Thank you, Doctor. We have 3 minutes. If anyone have question, you can ask. It was an excellent session. Really interesting topic. And we have to finish more regarding this, right? It's a continuous.
Yeah, there is. We have schizotypal personality disorder left, and then there is in type C personality disorder. There are 2 more left. So we have 3 more sessions to go for this.
Yeah, but one request I have to say to you, we will take another session. Please make your you are running, so
Okay.
make it slow. So
Okay.
anyway, our IFPH forum is lifelong. It is, so we can take one by one. Okay. You can take slowly.
Okay, sure.
Anyone have questions? I think it is 42 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Please self-talk regularly, nonsense talk. They might have asking about the remedy, right? I don't know. Dr. Raman
Dhawan.
Yeah, Raman Dhawan.
Patient self-talk regularly, nonsense talks. Self-talking is a rubric. If you take that, just a second. In synthesis, there is a rubric self-talking. patient talks to self. There is a rubric for that.
But these kind of personality disorder are, I mean, familial, right? I mean, from the from congenital, no, it will trigger in some action. Otherwise, it is from the birth. I mean, from the childhood onwards, no. It's
In schizoid, if you're talking about personality disorder,
yeah.
They are usually coming from childhood. They are coming from childhood insecurities. Okay, if a person is there who is not getting too much love or not getting too much affection, or he's trying to get too much love and he's not getting that affection in return, that will try to hamper that. Okay, so there was something in background, but what caused it is a stimulus which was given by the parent or the caregiver, or something like a tragedy or accident which happened in background.
Trigger that will trigger the condition, right?
That will trigger the condition.
Otherwise, if a normal person, I mean, normal personality doesn't suddenly affect this kind of I mean, personality disorders, right?
Yeah. So there is this rubric, mind talking to himself. The first remedies are Athusa, Antimtart, Aurum metallicum, Hyoscyamus, Calibacrum, and Cephysagria. And if you are saying that he's talking only when alone, then there are only 4 remedies in that: Lachesis, Nux vomica, Plumbum metallicum, and Stamonium. So there are rubrics for this if you want to take this symptom in consideration.
The rubrics itself is self-talk, right?
Yeah.
Self-talk.
The rubric is mind talking to himself.
Talking to himself.
Yeah. After suicide attempt, so there is this rubric also, mind suicidal disposition or mind suicide. You take that rubric, and then also that will help you into making a repertory sheet.
Okay, Dr. Ram Parvesha, what do you want to ask? I think the time finished, even though you can ask.
Thank you, Dr. Anjani and Dr. Manish Singh Azad. Congratulations. Very nice presentation. Excellent session. Excellent session. Schizoid personality disorder. Like every personality disorder is a very nice, good describe the personality disorder. लेकिन schizoid personality disorder, background of tuberculosis, background of tuberculosis, many kinds of medicine, Tamurcipia and Aurum metallicum, phosphorus, lachesis, etc. Very, very thanks, Dr. Manish Singh Azad.
Thank you, Dr. Ram Parvesha, and thank you, Dr. Manish Singh. I think we need an interactive section regarding this subject. After you finish once all the topics, then we will start with the interactive section. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just a second. Sorry, ma'am.
Thank you.
Maz has been asking that what about insomnia? For a few days, patient is sleepy and tired, but she could not sleep at all. The rubric is sleepiness, but sleep cannot. Okay. The rubric would be sleepiness, sleep cannot. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now it is time to move to Malayalam session. I'm inviting Dr. P. Shaila for moderating Malayalam session. Dr. You're welcome.